Let's go ahead and open up Mandala again, and let's talk about layer panel options. Now, we've looked at the layer options. Layer panels have options. All panels have options. And it's right here, this button. Now, if we have something selected and you click this button, you get a lot of stuff. Let's go through these. Number one, new layer here or new layer down here by clicking the button. What's a sub-layer? Well, if we come back out here again, you will notice that each one of these layers has this little triangle right here. And that's to collapse or expand that layer. If we go to Pretties, for example, you will notice there is a sublayer under here called Group. Now, I grouped everything in each one of these layers, so no matter which one you open, you're going to see that. But we have an Expand button right here, too. And if I click that, look at all the stuff that's in that layer. What is it? It's each individual path that builds the objects. The flowers, the leaves, the petals, all these things, each one, every time you draw something in Adobe Illustrator, it creates, in a sense, one of these sub-layers for you to control. Now let's go back up, way up here, and let's recollapse that and leave it open. But I'm going to go to Pretties, and I'll come over here and I'll say to the computer, go ahead and make me a new sub-layer. Now, it will give you layer options. We talked about those in the previous lesson. And if you click OK, you've just made a new sublayer that you can put things in and control. Let me undo that and get rid of it. Let's collapse this back out again. Let's go back and select flowers. Come back over here. We can duplicate a layer or delete a layer, but we can do that right here. If you want to duplicate this layer, drag it down on top of the new icon. Boom, you got a copy. You want to delete it? You can select it and click the delete button here. You can drag it right on top of the little trash can, or in most cases, you can press the delete key on your keyboard and delete it that way too. So we're using things from a menu that we actually have shortcuts for. Now, options are what we talked about in the previous movie, that lesson on the options for that particular layer. We can make a clipping mask. We haven't done that yet, but we will. Isolation mode. If I want to isolate flowers, a couple of ways I can do this. One is from here. What it does is it grays out everything but the flowers and allows me in isolation mode to work on them, still see everything, get all my stuff lined up the way I want it to, but the only things I can work on in isolation mode are the things that are isolated. Now, if I come back over here again to that option, I can exit. We talked about this already in a previous chapter. If you want to get into isolation mode, you double click. Isolation mode. I can start working now on that flower. To get out of it, I can double click over here, or I can come over here. See this little arrow? This area here is only there because we're in isolation mode, and I can back out just like that. You can also press the escape key to get out of it. You say, Andy, I know about isolation mode, and I double click a lot on things, and I'm accidentally getting into isolation mode. And I know I can press escape to get out of it, but I never use it. Some people don't. Can I turn this thing off? Actually, you can. Go into your preferences under Illustrator for Mac or Edit for Windows, and go into General Preferences. Double click to isolate. If you turn that off, it won't work. So you have a way to control it if you don't want to use it. Now I do, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it on. Let's go ahead and get back to our options. You have a Locate Object. So you come over here, and I'll pick up the Direct Selection tool, and I'll pick up this one little tiny globe right here. And I want to know where it is in Pretties. But remember all that stuff in there? If you've got it selected, you can come over here, and you can click Locate Object, and it will open it up and find it for you quickly. So, I don't know, maybe you can lock it if you want to. You can lock these individually. Turn it on and off. You've got quicker, faster control. Again, let me go ahead and collapse this back out again. An easier way to do that is to select the object you want to find and then just click this button right here. That is the Locate Object button, and it will do the same thing. So if you'd like to get there a little bit quicker, this might be a way for you to do that. Let's go ahead and recollapse this down and keep going here. Let me go back, say, to the flowers layer and make sure that I unselect this by clicking somewhere like that. Okay, we also have Merge selected, so I can select individual layers and say Merge flowers and pretties, but not leaves and backdrops, so I'd select them. I can flatten the artwork, which would put everything into one layer, but it would still be individual objects. I can collect things in a new layer. So I can say, I want this and this and this in a new layer, and it will do that for you. Now you have these two release options, to sequence and build, and a reverse order option. If you go into, well, let's go to flowers, and we have these groups, each one of these groups. If I come back up here again and I tell the computer to release them to a sequence, watch what happens. Well, it puts them into a group sequence. Now you can also, let me undo that. You can also, if you want to, do the same thing as opposed to a sequence. You could do it as a build and then reverse the order. Now we have a template option. We talked about templates in the other movie, the previous one, where we talked about layer options. Templates are things you use to draw with, but they don't print. You can make that here if you want to. We can hide others. I'm working on pretties. I want to get rid of everything else. So I come over here and I come down to hide others. That's nice, but there is a shortcut to this. Let me undo that. Come over here and hold on the Alt key when you click on the I for pretties, and it will hide the others. And if you do that again, it will turn them right back on again. So we do have a shortcut for that. If we come back over here again, we have outline others. Now I like that one. It's kind of neat because I'm working on flowers. I want to see the other stuff. I don't want the cumbersome nature of all the fills and everything, but I want to see the outlines. And so you got that. I'm going to press undo because there's a shortcut for this too. Reach over and hold down the Alt key and the Control key. Alt Control. And click the eyeball on the one you want to see, and it will be more than glad to outline everything else. Click again with the same two keys, and it will come back again for you. Going on, moving right along, as they say, locking. Well, I'm working on flowers, lock everything else for me. Again, of course, there is a shortcut for this. Hold the Alt key down when you click the lock, and it will lock everything but what you clicked on. Click it again, it'll turn everything back off. Finally, down here, we have something called Paste remembers layers. So remember, the word paste will remember layers. That kind of makes it more of a sentence. So let me show you something. Over here, I just have a star. It's in its own document, and it's a layer called star. So I'm going to click here. That button allows you to select everything in the layer, no matter what's there. I'm going to go to the word edit and say copy. Just a plain old run-of-the-mill Control-C copy. I'm going to come back over here. Now, I don't have paste remembers the layer thing. I don't have that on. So if I come over here and say edit paste, it's going to paste it in whatever layer I had selected. I may want that. That may be fine, but no, I don't. Check this out. Come back over here again and turn that on. Pasting remembers the layer it was in. Now, if you look at it, it's got a little check mark next to it. Come back over here and say edit paste and watch what happens. It creates a layer, the same layer that was in the other document, and now you can control it in a layer. You don't have to move it separately. Pasting remembers the layer it was in the other document. Now that's a little bit too long of a sentence to put here, so they put paste remembers layer. Let's go ahead and turn that off. You have one more option. Let me go ahead and get rid of this one. And again, I can just click this button right here if I want to. It'll ask if I'm sure. You click yes, or you can hold the Alt key when you click the button, and it will just do it for you. One more thing, and that is panel options. Now, in panel options, you've got things like, do you want your row sizes to be small, medium, large, or you can choose anything you want. You want those things big, make them anything you want. Do you want your thumbnails with layers, groups, objects? Now watch what happens when I say show layers only and turn this on. You are back to classic old-time Adobe Illustrator, where you never had access to that stuff in the layers panel. You just had the layers. Now please, I do want that. So I'm going to go back over here, go into options and turn that one back on, or actually turn it off. Down here, the buttons. That button we already looked at. That's a locate object button. This one's for a clipping mask. We will talk about those. This one's for a new sublayer, new and delete. That's it. That comprises the layer panel in terms of options for the layer in the last lesson, and now options for the panel itself. Most of these, as you saw, do have shortcut keys though. On to the next.